Good evening, everyone. Can somebody just write in the chat box, am I audible? Fine. Okay, thank you so much. So I think I should begin now. It's already 4 o'clock. So today our session is about strengthening assessment and evaluation. So I hope all of us, we are all teaching in CBSE school. My name is Rajni Sharma and I'm the Vice Principal of NML Kerala Public School, Jamshedpur. So to begin with, we all are dealing with CBSE school and we all are aware about the assessment pattern and the structure of assessment. So today in depth, we are going to just see what actually CBSE wants from us and what we are supposed to do, how we are supposed to evaluate our children as per the assessment guidelines. So I'll just present my screen before you. Just let me know if you can, it's visible. Yeah, yeah, fine. So strengthening assessment and evaluation practices is the session for today and the objective of the session. So what is the objective of today's session? First of all, whenever we enter the class, we need to have an objective, why we are in the class, for what we are taking the class. So today our objective is to identify the key elements of the structure of assessment, to elaborate on the concept of periodic test as part of internal assessment, then prepare a blueprint of the question paper for the respective subjects and familiarize with different strategies in different types of assessment. Then we need to understand the purpose of multiple assessment, periodic test, student portfolio, subject enrichment activities, and then familiarize with the co-scholastic as well as the scholastic, both scholastic and scholastic structure of assessment. So I hope everybody is aware about this site, cbseacademic.nicnic.in. So this is the site where we can get all the documents related to academics. It is basically be it the structure of the assessment or your guidelines, the restructure model, everything is available in this site. So we all are aware about it. So just okay. I'll just change. So I just want to know, as teachers, what are the difficulties you face in incorporating the cycle of curriculum in the classroom? And just in the chat box, you can give me the answer. What are the difficulties you face in the classroom? We all face certain difficulties in the classroom. So what are those difficulties? What are the challenges, you can say, in the classroom which you face as teachers? Yes. Anyone? Please answer in the chat box. Mainly when we talk about the curriculum or the structure of assessment, we deal with four parts. The teacher, whenever they enter the class, it is basically planning. First step of our assessment is what? Planning. Then we deal with how we have to implementing it, then evaluating it and assessing it. So, and many challenges we face. So we tell how, so the teachers keep on telling, how do we do activities in the class? Because we need to complete our syllabus. Syllabus is so much. So the activity part is also sometimes left behind because of the syllabus completion and all. So we all are struggling with it, with the complete procedure of teaching learning. But planning, if our planning is up to the mark, if we see that we are planning it properly, then we can do the complete activity, and we can complete curriculum can be completed also, and the children will be benefited also. So most importantly, we have to focus on the planning. Now let's come to focus on the structure of assessment. So what is the structure of assessment? So we all know that it is divided into two parts. One is scholastic area and the other is co-scholastic area. So in scholastic area, we deal with internal assessment and board examination. Okay, and in co-scholastic area, we have to fill the marks of health and physical education, art education, discipline. So in internal, today we are supposed to deal with the internal assessment. We all give 20 marks from the school side. How do we give the 20 marks? That we have to, how the 20 marks which is going as an internal assessment to the boards is segregated. Today we are going to discuss about it. Scholastic, that is called where we have to send all the scholastic area marks. And then we have board exam, which is in year end. So 20 marks of internal assessment and 80 marks is the board examination. And in co-scholastic area, we have health and physical education, art education, and discipline. This whole structure is there in the CBSE mark sheet, and this is the internal assessment in 9 and 10, where we need to fill up the marks. Next. So 20 marks is divided, how the 20 marks which we have to send to the CBSE board is divided. So we take periodic test, which is called as pen and paper test, which is of 5 marks. Then we take the multiple assessment again, which is of 5 marks. Then portfolio, 5 marks. And then comes the subject enrichment, which is again 5 marks. So then beginning with periodic test. Periodic test is also known as we also normally call it as pen and paper test. So as per the board, we have to take pre-midterm test, midterm test, and then post-midterm. And after that comes the final board exam. And the syllabus also need to be increased. The syllabus is normally increased. 25% of the syllabus we usually cover in the pre-midterm test. Then 50% of the syllabus we cover in the midterm test, and 75% of the syllabus we cover it in the post-midterm test. And then final 80 marks will be your board exams. And then 5 marks, then average of best 2 can be taken, and then it has to come down to 5%. Then 5 marks goes in the periodic test out of the 20 internal marks which we need to send it to the boards. So pre-midterm, midterm, and post-midterm. If you are taking all exams, maybe of 80 marks also, but we have to bring down to 5 marks, which goes as the pen and paper. Periodic test. Under the category of periodic test, we have to put in 5 marks. Then comes the multiple assessment, where we have to, where in multiple assessment, we are more assessment is based on quizzes, like we can take debate, speech, or group discussion. Lot of assessment can be taken in multiple assessment. Then comes the portfolio, where the children are supposed to, we'll go in detail about all this, about portfolio, which is the children are supposed to make a portfolio where they have to present about their own achievements in the form of a scrapbook or in a form of a notepad. And next comes the subject enrichment, which differs from subject to subject. So this way, 5, 5, 5 marks, 5 periodic, 5 multiple assessment, 5 portfolio, and then comes 5 marks as subject enrichment. And total 20 marks we are sending it to boards, which is known as the internal assessment marks. Next comes the pattern of board exam. So how the board exam marks are distributed. First is the language. It comes either we take English and then language 2 is there as Hindi. Then we have science, mathematics, and social studies. So board exam is with 100% syllabus. So as we discussed in the previous slide, pre-midterm we should take 25%. Midterm exam we should take 50% of the syllabus. Post-midterm we should take 75% of the syllabus. And then finally, when the child appears for the board exams, they give 100% of the syllabus. And then we have language 1, language 2, again 100% syllabus is there and 80 marks. Science, again 100%, 80 marks, mathematics and social science. These are the scholastic subject which we call. And the child has to pass, has to secure 33% both in assessment, internal assessment, as well as in the theory. So children have this misconception also that including internal assessment, if they get 33%, they get a pass certificate. But it is not so. They have to get individually 33% marks in the internal assessment, as well as they need to get 33% marks in the board exams also. So this way they will pass. Next. Now let us discuss in detail about the internal assessments and its structure. So we all go to the class, we all teach. Are we sure that the children learn also? We are not sure about it. How can we come to know that the children learn what we are teaching? So for that, we need to take the assessment. For that, assessment is required. We go on teaching, but when we do not get any feedback that what if we all are teaching, but are the children learning? Are they benefiting? But after that, I think somebody has written poor network. Am I audible? Can I get this from the host? Is there any problem in the screen or am I audible? Because I can see somebody writing poor network. Okay, I think from your end, maybe ma'am, your network issue must be there from your end. Okay, fine. So now here we are dealing with 3 types of assessment. First is assessment of learning. Next is assessment for learning. And third is assessment as learning. Now, what do you mean by assessment of learning? Suppose we cook something. We all are here teachers and everybody, even the male staff or the female, we all cook. How do we come to know that we have made a tasty food? We come to know when we taste it. When the food is ready and we taste it, we come to know it is very tasty. So assessment of learning is something after we have taught everything and we take an exam, which is the summative exam. So that comes under the category of assessment of learning. Now assessment for learning. And this is end of the year or end of the term. We take assessment, that is assessment of learning, which is usually summative. And next is assessment for learning, which is normally formative assessment, which as and when, suppose we have completed a chapter, we have completed a maths exercise, and then we take a quiz, okay, or we take a small test. So that comes under assessment for learning. So as and when we are teaching, we are conducting some tests, some assessment we are conducting, and that is assessment for learning. And assessment as learning, that is, it is actually self-done by the children. Okay, it is self-done by the children. As and when teaching is going on, they also maintain their documents, they also maintain their profile, and it is actually more or less, you can say it is a self-learning by the children. So in detail, when you see assessment of learning. So as I just told you that this one, the taste of the pudding is in eating, and then the proof of learning is the result obtained from assessing. So we all teach, but do everybody learn? This is what was the question. So after the test, when we see the assessment, when we see the summative, we take the summative exam, and then we see the marks of the children, then we come to know what we have taught is achieved. Or if the children perform well, if they pass out with flying colors, then we are satisfied that yes, what we have taught, the children have learned it. So this is assessment of learning. Next is assessment for learning. So in this assessment for learning is usually formative, as I told you. So, and it happens during the learning, often more than once rather than at the end. So this is happening as and one. After we complete one chapter, we take an assessment. Then again, we start another chapter, we take an assessment. It can be in the form of your quiz. It can be a group discussion. It can be in the form of some role play. So lot of things, lot of activities can be planned when we take the assessment, formative assessment, and it is known as assessment for learning. So here students understand exactly what they are to learn, what is expected of them, and are given feedback on how to improve their work. So here what happens, as and when the children learn, sorry, they are given feedback. So after one chapter we teach, we need not wait for the summative exam to be over, or we need not wait till the midterm exam. As and when we complete the chapter, we can take a formative assessment for them, and we can give the feedback that time only, that what they have learned. And then the scope of improvement is more in assessment as learning. And then next, in assessment for learning. And last is assessment as learning. So through this, we are able to through this, the students are able to learn what themselves. As I told, they can learn themselves, and they can become aware of what they are supposed to learn. What we call it metacognitive. That is knowledge of self-thought process. So students reflect on their work on a regular basis over here, and usually through self and peer assessment, and decide, often with the help of a teacher, particularly in early stages, what their next learning will be. So this is assessment as learning, and it helps the students to take more responsibility for their own learning and monitoring future directions. So this is assessment as learning. So we have spoken about the three types of assessment, that is assessment of learning, assessment for learning, and assessment as learning. Now let us see in our structure of CBSE, in these three categories, what all assessment it falls, what all assessments are there, and which assessments we are taking as per the CBSE. So we are covering all the three assessments in our CBSE. So see here. Here in this slide, you can see what I was talking about. Assessment of learning is usually the periodic test, which is the summative test, and it is taken at the end of the term after we complete our portion, like the midterm. Then is assessment for learning. So this is usually the subject enrichment, which is taken of every subject, and even the multiple assessment we take, that is assessment for learning. And assessment as learning is the portfolio. So all these comprises of the internal assessment, that is 20 marks, which we send it to the boards. Now let us see the first internal assessment. Now one by one we'll go to all the internal assessment. So the first internal assessment, the 5 marks, is of the periodic test, which we call it as pen and paper test. Okay, so we take 3 pen and paper tests to be conducted, that is midterm, pre-midterm, midterm, and post-midterm. And again, as I told you before also, the best 2 performance out of the 3 should be considered, and the average of the 2 performances considered is then reduced to 5%. So we must be, all of you must be thinking, or we also, when as teachers, when go to the class, we think we are taking so many tests, we are taking so many exams, we are taking pre-boards, we are taking midterm, pre-midterm, post-midterm, but what we are sending to board is just 5 marks. And even the children feel that we are sending only 5 marks out of taking all this. But we need to make the children aware it is not the 5 marks which we are sending it to the board. We are preparing them for the main board exams. Next is the assessment, multiple assessment. Now, multiple assessment can be taken in various forms. Is this the correct way? As I have put it in the slide. For a fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. Please climb that tree. Can we say that the elephant is also climbing the tree? The fish is also climbing the tree? So in our education system, we are doing the same. We are testing the same, we are testing the children the same way. But at least the multiple assessment is in our hands. Over here, we can group the children, we can test the children according to their ability, according to their capability. So different tests which can be planned, different activities can be planned for the children, for which we can test the multiple assessment. So it can be in the form of a quiz, it can be in the form of a recitation, reading, project, role play. Then it can be some cards can be given to them, some map work can be done. They can enact an advertisement. So many things are there which we can take as part of an activity in the multiple assessment, for as a part of multiple assessment, which is of 5 marks, which we send it to the boards. Now, most important, whenever we are testing something, whenever we are doing an activity, for every activity there should be, or for every lesson I should say, there should be learning outcomes. So learning outcome is very important whenever you go to a class, whenever you plan a lesson, whenever you plan an activity. So most important thing is learning outcome. Okay, we need to know that what should be the learning outcome of a chapter. So the learning outcome should be SMART. SMART means it has to be very specific. Suppose you are going and teaching, for example, math. You are going and teaching noun. So we need to be very specific that in noun today, the children at the end of my period, all the children should know what is a noun or how many types of nouns are there. So everybody should know that. So it has to be very specific, the learning outcome. Then it has to be measurable. How can you measure? Suppose 70% of the children could answer, yes, you could answer correct proper noun and common noun. We can say that, okay, out of my 40 children, my 30 children could answer. So we are measuring it. So it is measurable. It should be attainable. That means whatever learning outcome should be, it cannot be vague. Okay, it should be attainable. It has to be attained. Okay, it is not something which is not achievable. We cannot have that kind of a learning outcome which we feel that after end of that lesson it is not achievable. So we should not have that kind of a learning outcome. Then it should be relevant. It should be relevant to the topic. If we are teaching noun, our learning outcome should be noun. Our learning outcome cannot be adverb, or it cannot be some other topic. It has to be relevant to that topic. And then it should be time bound, which is very important. We cannot say that in 6 months we are only teaching one topic and learning outcome is not achieved. So for 1 week we are teaching the same thing. It should have a time bound. We should fix a time within 2 periods, or for 4 periods we have, my lesson is this, my learning outcome is this. So it has to be completed in a week or in a 4 periods, whatever you decide. It should be a time bound. So the learning outcome, whenever you mention, friends, you should see to it is SMART, which means it should be specific, it should be measurable, it should be attainable, it should be relevant, and it should be time bound. So whenever you write any learning outcome, please see to it that you cover all these points. Now next, we all have decided upon the learning outcomes. Now, based on the learning outcome, we have decided, suppose, a topic, an activity. So this is a LAR cycle. We call it as LAR cycle. So what is it? Our expected learning outcome is there. What learning outcomes do we expect from our children? Suppose we have given any activity. Suppose you are conducting a role play in any subject. Okay, so the expected learning outcome should be there. Okay, you have jotted down certain expected learning outcome. And then comes the activity. So what is the activity? Role play is the activity. So by the end, then comes the assessment. You have to assess the role play because you have to put the marks in the multiple assessment. So you need to assess it. And then come the reflective practices. Reflective practices is feedback, actual feedback to the children, what they have to attain, what they have to improve, how they were. And before taking any activity, before giving any activity, the rubrics need to be made very, very clear. The children should know that what you are going to assess. Suppose in role play, you are going to assess, suppose, the voice modulation of the child, or the acting of the child, or the character of the child. Whatever is your rubrics, it has to be clearly given to the children beforehand, so that the children are preparing themselves. They are prepared with that same, according to the rubrics, they prepare themselves, and so that you can also achieve your learning outcome. So this is the LAR cycle of assessment, in which L stands for the learning outcomes, A is the teaching learning strategy, that is the activity, then A is the assessment, and next comes R, which is the reflective practices. Reflective practices, you can say even the feedback, what we say, the feedback given to the children. So this LAR cycle needs to be followed whenever we are conducting any activity. So before the activity, the outcomes, what are the expected outcomes has to be noted down. Then the children have to be explained about the activity with complete rubrics, how you are going to assess it. Then the assessment can be done as per the rubrics. It's not that I have to conduct an assessment, an activity for 5 marks and I'm giving 5 marks. No, how that 5 marks is divided. 5 marks should be divided accordingly, like 1 mark for content, 2 marks for modulation, for vocabulary, whatever you decide about the rubrics. So it has to be decided accordingly. And then what after the activity is over, this is you have to close the loop. So how will you close the loop? By giving the feedback to the children, by giving that is called reflective practices, by giving the children the feedback that what they have to improve, where they were good, where where more improvement is required. So सारा हमको feedback देना बहुत जरूरी है बच्चों को, and without feedback we should not move ahead. So then only the whole process, ये circle का जो loop है, तभी हम complete कर सकते हैं, तभी loop को close कर सकते हैं. So feedback is very important, which we usually miss. After teaching any lesson, that reflective practices is required. Until and unless we take the reflective practices, we do it. It should become a complete, you can say, हमारी आदत हो जानी चाहिए कि हमको reflective practices करवाना है daily, so that we know we all are teaching, but at the end of the day, we do not know how much our children are learning. So that's very important. Now, what are the points we should remember? So every activity, as I told you, every activity should have an assessing tool. मतलब rubrics होना जरूरी है. Assessing tool over here means rubrics. So हर activity में हमारे पास rubrics होना जरूरी है कि हम किस तरह से बच्चों को assess कर रहे हैं. Then do not forget to keep evidence of the activity. This is very important for as per the board requirement. We should keep the evidence of all the activity. Then assessing parameters should be discussed with the students when the activity is given. So this, as I told you, it is very important. The assessment parameters should be discussed. That means how you are going to assess, which are the parameters you are going to see. सो वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बच्चों को पहले से ही बता देना है कि मुझे ये सब देखना है, योर एक्टिविटी में ये सब मुझे देखना है। सपोज आपने एक प्रोजेक्ट दिया, उसमें नीटनेस होना चाहिए, उसमें प्रेजेंटेशन आपको देखना है, कंटेंट देखना है। सो आप ये सारा रूब्रिक्स पहले से ही बच्चों को बता दे कि हमें ये सब रूब्रिक्स इसके अनुसार आप बनाइए ताकि हम ये सब देखते। इवन इन द नोटबुक व्हेन वी ऑब्जर्व, व्हेन यू give marks in the notebook also, you should tell the children that I will give 1 marks if the lines are drawn properly, if the date is written, if the heading is written. Then again I will give 1 more mark if it is neat and clean, if there is no incomplete work. Again I will give you 1 mark if the notebook is covered properly, if you have completed all the work. Like this you should always tell the children what you expect from them to know. हमको उनको बताना है कि हम उनसे क्या चाहते हैं, तभी हमारे बच्चे उसी तरह से हमें प्रेजेंट करेंगे। हम यदि नहीं बताएंगे बच्चों को कि हमें क्या चाहिए, तो बच्चों को भी नहीं पता लगेगा ना कि हम उनसे क्या चाह रहे हैं। So it is very important to communicate to the children what is expected out of them. So when we write some comments, this out of the way I'm telling this, even when we write the comments in the notebook, we should be very precise and we should write it very carefully कि हमको क्या जानना है। इनकम्प्लीट वर्क हम लिख देते हैं नोटबुक में, तो बच्चा क्या करे देख के इनकम्प्लीट वर्क। इंस्टेड वी शुड राइट कंप्लीट योर पेंडिंग वर्क। यस और नो, वी शुड राइट लाइक दिस, कंप्लीट योर पेंडिंग वर्क। जबकि हम क्या करते हैं, इनकम्प्लीट वर्क लिख के हम क्वेश्चन मार्क डाल देते हैं, बच्चा भी वैसे ही पेज छोड़ देता है, हाँ भाई इनकम्प्लीट वर्क है, ठीक है मैम ने लिख दिया इनकम्प्लीट वर्क, इट इज ओके। बट इंस्टेड ऑफ दैट वी शुड ऑलवेज ट्राई टू राइट इट इन what we want the child। हम जब नोटबुक देखे हैं बच्चों का इनकम्प्लीट नहीं हुआ है वर्क, तो हमें उस तरह से फ्रेम करके लिखना है नोटबुक में, प्लीज कंप्लीट योर पेंडिंग वर्क, कंप्लीट योर वर्क एंड शो इट टू मी इन डर्टी हैंड राइटिंग वी राइट। Instead, we should write, improve your handwriting and write it again. Okay, so this we need to be very careful कि हम क्या चाहते हैं, हमको बताना है बच्चों को कि हम उनसे क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं और हम उनसे क्या चाहते हैं। And then only we will also, our life will also become easy. Even we will know what we will know what we want, and they will also know what they have to give to us. So this is very important. So as per boards assessment documents which we are, it's very important for us to keep it. So it is record of assessment, the rubrics, okay, and other documents you can keep as photographs, your project files, the PPTs, the models, chart as per multiple assessment, whatever you have taken. And some suggestive is you can even give the headings, even give your main headings to the children when you give a project. That is introduction होना चाहिए project में, objective होना चाहिए, preparation, how do you want the students to prepare, then procedure होना चाहिए. So some of the main headings also we can give it to the children when we expect from them to make a project. Next, we have dealt with the first is the periodic test, 5 marks we give it to the children as internal assessment. Then 5 marks we give it as multiple assessment. This is the multiple assessment. Then comes the 5 marks comes of portfolio. Now, what is a portfolio? CBSE has introduced portfolio also for the children. Now, portfolio, let us see what it is. Here, portfolio means a profile of the child. What are his achievements? It can be his activity also. It can be his certificates also. What he has achieved throughout in that class. Whatever activity he has done, a photograph of his activity also, a notebook also. Lot of things can be entered in the person's, in a student's portfolio. Now, some of the suggestive ways of what can be done in the portfolio. So documents that must go in the portfolio, it is very important. Notebook for each subject, since notebook assessment is not a part of the portfolio now. Any work that the teacher and the student agreed upon as an artifact for the portfolio must be in that portfolio. So if any activity that teacher has given or anything, suppose you make a portfolio. If I give my children to make a portfolio about any chapter. So suppose the child is expected to write the summary of that chapter, and then he has to make it little colorful by drawing the theme of that chapter. So that should be a part of the portfolio. And then he can also give some other documents which he can put it in the portfolio, like the certificates, like his achievements, that can also be there in the portfolio. That is may, but must is notebook of each subject. Next, what is a portfolio actually? So a portfolio is a living and changing collection of records that reflect accomplishments, skills, experiences, and attributes. It highlights and showcases samples of some of the best work. Okay, some of the students' best work. It showcases that. Okay, portfolios show cumulative efforts and learning of a particular student over time. So they offer valuable information about the student's improvement and skill mastery. Along with the student's reflection, that the data provides valuable information about how each student learns and what is important to him or her in the learning process is understood by the teacher. So that is why the portfolio comes under the category of learning as assessment as learning. So it is assessment as learning where the child does the complete work himself. He can showcase his skills in the portfolio. He can showcase his creativity in the portfolio. So whatever he wants, he can give his experiences over there. So it is total, it is upon him how he will make his portfolio, build his portfolio. So that is the reason we call this as learning as assessment. So the child is learning while he is giving the assessment while he is learning. Now, what is supposed to be in the portfolio? It has to be systematic collection of a learner's work, a way to display skills and accomplishment, updated as and when individual skills and accomplishments grow. Okay, and then involve student self-assessment. So all these are the important things which is there in the portfolio. So as and when it can keep on, like he can start at the beginning of the term and the same portfolio can end by the end of the term. Okay, and he can keep on adding in them. In his, the portfolio can keep on enhancing throughout the session. वो बढ़ सकता है, बच्चे जैसे जैसे कुछ अचीव कर रहे हैं वैसे वैसे बच्चे अपना पोर्टफोलियो में ऐड करते जा सकते हैं. सो वो हमेशा बढ़ते रहेगा. Can you, yeah. Now it helps the students to reflect his skills also, and students take more responsibilities for their learning. So ये सब बेनिफिट होता है पोर्टफोलियो का. बच्चों को भी लगता है कि मेरा पोर्टफोलियो, हमें सबको लगता है ना हमारा प्रोफाइल एनहांस होना चाहिए. उसके लिए हम सब मेहनत करते हैं ना अपना प्रोफाइल. कभी कोई हम कुछ कोर्स कर लिए, हम कोई अलग से कुछ काम कर लिए, तो हमारा प्रोफाइल हम एनहांस करने में हमें भी मजा आता है. As an adult also we feel like that we should keep on enhancing our profile, ताकि हम कुछ ना कुछ कोर्स करें, हम कुछ भी काम करें अपना, कि हमारा प्रोफाइल एनहांस होते जाए, बढ़ते जाए हमारा प्रोफाइल. सेम वे पोर्टफोलियो के द्वारा भी बच्चों का प्रोफाइल जो है, जो ये एक्चुअली एक प्रोफाइल है बच्चों का, जो एनहांस होते जाता है उनके अचीवमेंट से. So that is the reason you can tell the children, because there are, I also come across children, जब बच्चे बोलते हैं मैम 5 नंबर के लिए इतना कुछ आप करवा रहे हो, but it is not that 5 marks which matters. It is that you are enhancing your skills. बताना हमें वैसा बच्चों को समझाना होता है कि everything is not that 5 marks, but हम अपने आप को किस तरह से डेवलप कर रहे हैं पूरे थ्रू आउट द ईयर, हमारे लिए वो इम्पोर्टेंट है, ना कि हमारे लिए 5 नंबर इम्पोर्टेंट है. These are the some of the samples मैंने जस्ट डाला है जो कि बच्चों ने बनाया है पोर्टफोलियो में. ये जस्ट सैंपल है, जिस तरह से बच्चे स्टिक कर सकते हैं एक्टिविटीज जो हुआ है स्कूल में, अपना क्रिएटिविटी दिखा सकते हैं. These are some of the samples. So this was portfolio. So we have dealt with 5 marks periodic test, 5 marks multiple assessment, 5 marks periodic. Now we are Again, now next 5 marks is about the subject enrichment activities. I hope everybody who is taking classes in standard high school is aware about the subject enrichment activities. First of all, what is subject enrichment and why CBSE has introduced subject enrichment? CBSE ने subject enrichment हर एक subject में different क्यों introduce किया? Because CBSE is, anyone can give this answer in the chat box. ये सब्जेक्ट एनरिचमेंट जो एक्टिविटी है ये सीबीएसई ने क्यों इंट्रोड्यूस किया हमारे लिए? एनीवन जस्ट वन वर्ड आंसर इन द चैट बॉक्स. ये क्यों, मतलब पर्पस क्या, ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है सीबीएसई का सब्जेक्ट एनरिचमेंट एक्टिविटी इंट्रोड्यूस करने का? Okay, this subject enrichment activity, the CBSE has introduced it to enhance the skill of the students. Yes, very good. I got an answer from Bhagirath. Skills, yes. So, sir, आपका आंसर एकदम करेक्ट था. To develop our skill. ये actually skill है. तो हम हर एक सब्जेक्ट में किस तरह से स्किल डेवलप कर रहे हैं बच्चों का सब्जेक्ट एनरिचमेंट एक्टिविटी के द्वारा. सो लैंग्वेज में हम क्या लेते हैं, चाहे वो इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज हो या स्किल डेवलपमेंट के लिए. सो हर सब्जेक्ट में हम स्किल डेवलप करते हैं. सब्जेक्ट एनरिचमेंट एक्टिविटी का जो ऑब्जेक्टिव है दैट इज टू अंडरस्टैंड, दैट इज टू फोकस अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड डेवलपिंग द स्किल. ओके, सो हम जो सब्जेक्ट इसमें लैंग्वेज में व्हाट आर द स्किल्स वी डेवलप, लैंग्वेज में हम एएसएल लेते हैं, इंग्लिश में एएसएल है, हिंदी में एएसएल है. तो इससे हम दो स्किल बच्चों का डेवलप कर रहे हैं. One is speaking skill and the other is the listening skills. So these two skills we are developing by subject enrichment of language, that is ASL. हम सब ASL लेते हैं ना इंग्लिश में और हिंदी में सब्जेक्ट एनरिचमेंट के द्वारा. So that is developing a skill. अब मैथ्स में, मैथमेटिक्स में हम क्या करते हैं, हम एक्टिविटीज और प्रोजेक्ट देते हैं, लैब मैनुअल देते हैं. तो उसके द्वारा अगेन वी आर टेस्टिंग द स्किल ऑफ द चाइल्ड through mathematics subject enrichment, that is lab manuals. And science, we all know science में practicals लेते हैं हम लोग. practicals में भी हम skill ही develop कर रहे हैं बच्चों का. तो practicals are taken for science. So here through practicals we are developing their skills, science practicals, be it physics, chemistry or biology. And social science में हम लोग प्रोजेक्ट देंगे या कोई मैप वर्क देते हैं. तो इसमें भी हम प्रोजेक्ट के द्वारा बच्चों की स्किल डेवलप कर रहे हैं. सो द मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ सब्जेक्ट एनरिचमेंट गिवन बाय सीबीएसई इज टू डेवलप द स्किल ऑफ द subject, to skill of the students. In through all the 5 subjects we usually develop the skill of the students. So that is the purpose of subject. Yeah, even the drawing skills, yes, very nicely said. Even the drawing skills, even the creativity. So many skills are developed through subject enrichment. So that is the reason CBSE has kept 5 marks for subject enrichment. So CBSE ने इस तरह से चारों मतलब इंटरनल असेसमेंट के चारों पार्ट में डिवाइड किया इंटरनल असेसमेंट को. पहला जो कि पेन एंड पेपर पीरियोडिक टेस्ट है, सेकंड मल्टीपल असेसमेंट है जिसमें हम फ्री है कुछ भी कर लेने को, एक्टिविटी लेने को. थर्ड है हमारा पोर्टफोलियो 5 मार्क्स एंड फोर्थ है हमारा सब्जेक्ट एनरिचमेंट दैट इज 5 मार्क्स. सो इस तरह से 5 मार्क्स करके हम बच्चों का 20 मार्क्स जो है सीबीएसई में एज पार्ट ऑफ, जब पोर्टल खुलता है हमको सीबीएसई में मार्क्स एंटर करने होते हैं तो हम 20 मार्क्स जो है बच्चों का पोर्टल में 20 मार्क्स हम एंटर करते हैं. बट इसमें हमको अपने रिकॉर्ड के लिए वी शुड ऑल कीप बाइफरकेटिंग एवरीथिंग. For every 5 marks which we have given, we should have a record. Anytime inspection can be there, anytime the people can ask about the record, how we have given 20 marks. So that's very important. I hope it is clear till here, everyone. Now, the next part of the session is what is the difference between assessment and evaluation. दो चीज होता है, एक होता है असेसमेंट. अभी हम सब असेसमेंट की बात कर रहे थे इतनी देर तक. बट व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस नाउ बिटवीन असेसमेंट एंड इवैल्यूएशन? very well it has been defined over here. Assessment is to increase quality. हम assessment जो लेते हैं स्कूल में, फॉर्मेटिव हुआ, जो भी थ्रू टेस्ट हुआ, इससे क्या होता है, हम अपने we assess to increase the quality. और इवैल्यूएशन जो होता है वो फाइनल होता है हमारे लिए, जैसा बोर्ड है उसमें हम सिर्फ जज करते हैं. हमने जैसे एक पौधा, ये वाला पिक्चर में बहुत अच्छी तरह से दिखाया है, एक पौधा हम लगा रहे हैं, उसमें हम पानी डाल रहे हैं, तो इसमें ये हम क्या कर रहे हैं, हम लोग असेस कर रहे हैं ताकि हम अपनी क्वालिटी, अपना एडुकेशन, हम जो पढ़ा रहे हैं हम उस पर अपने क्वालिटी को इम्प्रूव कर सके और बच्चे हमें समझ सके. सो दैट इज असेसमेंट. बट हम जब इवैल्यूएट करते हैं तो हम जजमेंटल हो जाते हैं. जब हम उनका फाइनल एग्जाम्स खत्म हो गए तब हम इवैल्यूएट करते हैं, तो दैट इज कॉल्ड इवैल्यूएशन. सो जब हम बोर्ड्स में बच्चों को, हम बोर्ड्स की तैयारी कराते हैं, हम उनके बार बार असेसमेंट लेते हैं, बार बार टेस्ट लेते हैं, कभी हम क्विज करवाते हैं, कभी हम एग्जाम्स लेते हैं, तो वो सब हम उसके बाद हम फीडबैक देते हैं, हम उसको असेस करते हैं. बट हम जब बोर्ड में, जब हम लोग, दैट इज व्हाई वी ऑल टेल ना, बोर्ड में हम इवैल्यूएशन के लिए जा रहे हैं. हम किस लिए जा रहे हैं एग्जाम के लिए? तब हम नहीं बोलते हम असेसमेंट के लिए बोर्ड के पेपर्स चेक करने जा रहे हैं, बट हम पेपर्स को इवैल्यूएट करने जा रहे हैं. दैट टाइम वी बिकम मोर ऑफ जजमेंटल. वी जज द चिल्ड्रन बिकॉज दैट इज द, हमने अपने पौधे को लगा दिया, खूब पानी दे दिया, पौधा कैसा हुआ है वो हमें जज करना है. सो दिस इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन असेसमेंट एंड इवैल्यूएशन. Assessment means check and coach to excellence, and evaluation is check and grade on time. तो ये हो गया evaluation. Next. Now assessment is ongoing. वो ongoing होता है. It is positive. It is individualized. It is valuable, and it also provides feedback. तो असेसमेंट क्या होता है, ये बहुत ही इंडिविजुअल, हम एक एक बच्चे को असेसमेंट दे सकते, आई मीन फीडबैक दे सकते हैं. पीटीएम्स होती है, हम एक एक पेरेंट को वन ऑन वन हम उनको उनका बच्चों का फीडबैक दे सकते हैं. रिपोर्ट कार्ड में हम बच्चों का फीडबैक लिख सकते हैं, हम वन ऑन वन उनसे बात करके फीडबैक दे सकते हैं. बट इवैल्यूएशन क्या होता है, इट प्रोवाइड्स क्लोजर. तब हमारे हाथ में कुछ नहीं है, क्लोजर है वो, एंड इट इज जजमेंटल, एंड वो स्टैंडर्ड जो भी उसके शॉर्टफॉल्स है उसको हमें सिर्फ दिखाता है कि हमने इतनी तैयारी की बच्चों के, बट ये हमारा रिजल्ट है, वो हमें सिर्फ दिखाता है, उसके बाद हमारे हाथ में कुछ नहीं होता है. सो दैट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन इवैल्यूएशन एंड assessment, and both of them require criteria, use measures, evidence driven. दोनों में एविडेंस चाहिए होता है, दोनों का क्राइटेरिया होता है. सो बोथ इवैल्यूएशन एंड दिस थिंग assessment. Now whenever we go for evaluation, or whenever we are training our children for evaluation, now we are training them for competency based learning. So what is knowing and what is doing? अभी वो टाइम आ गया है, अब हमको knowing से doing में जाना है. हमें क्या आता है, उसके अलावा हमें क्या करना है, we have to think about it. Okay, and knowing to doing. So then the process goes like this. Okay, so what is our desired learning outcomes? It is designed, our learning outcome is there, that is our term exams, you can say. And then desired learning outcome is there, we design the learning experiences, फिर हम क्वेश्चन पेपर बनाते हैं, क्वेश्चन पेपर को डिजाइन करते हैं. So this complete process we follow throughout our sessions, and what all we should remember for it. So we should create subject specific assessment objective, assess a more significant proportion, higher order thinking skills, analysis and evaluation. We increase the assessment of fundamental skills and real world context, and we should use authentic source material and scenarios. So हम लोग को, yes, we have to focus more on competency learning. Okay, उसके लिए हमें क्या होगा, real world situation, हमें अपने क्वेश्चन पेपर किस तरह से बनाने चाहिए, हमें अपना हायर ऑर्डर थिंकिंग स्किल्स, हॉट क्वेश्चंस कैसे बनाने, कितने बनाने चाहिए, हमें लोअर ऑर्डर वाले क्वेश्चंस कितने बनाने चाहिए, फिर कितने हमें ऑथेंटिक, कितने स्पेसिफिक होना चाहिए हमारा असेसमेंट ऑब्जेक्टिव. ऑल दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अ चाइल्ड. Then We should use more of diagrams and other visual materials. जो हम जब हम क्वेश्चन पेपर बनाते हैं तो हमको उसमें we should use more of diagrams and visual materials. Structured questions होने चाहिए. We should link the question together with the, as per the demand. Okay, throughout our assessment. Use language which is accessible to all levels of student ability. ऐसा नहीं है कि हमारी वोकैबुलरी बहुत अच्छी है, वी आर रिच, और हम एकदम हाई फाई इंग्लिश और फ्लारी लैंग्वेज हम यूज कर दे क्वेश्चन पेपर में, एंड ऑल द चिल्ड्रन विल नॉट बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड आवर क्वेश्चन. यदि बच्चे हमारे क्वेश्चन को समझेंगे ही नहीं तो वो क्वेश्चन बनाएंगे कैसे, आंसर कैसे लिखेंगे. यूज इम्प्रूव्ड लेवल ऑफ रिस्पॉन्स एंड पॉइंट बेस्ड मार्किंग स्कीम. तो मार्किंग स्कीम्स जो भी है हमारा बहुत ही रिस्पॉन्सिव एंड बहुत ही पॉइंट बेस्ड होना चाहिए. सो हम लोग सब एक बहुत ही फेमस पर्सनालिटी, फेमस पर्सन का नाम सुने होंगे जिसके नाम से हम लोग क्वेश्चन पेपर बनाते हैं, जो कि हमें 7 steps of making the question paper देता है. So who is that person? Anybody can write it in the chat box. It is the which we follow the Bloom's taxonomy. क्या follow करते हैं हम question paper बनाने के लिए? Bloom's taxonomy. Yes. So in the Bloom's taxonomy, as per Bloom's taxonomy, we usually cater to 3 important domains of the children. Okay, one is the cognitive domain, what is psychomotor domain, and next is the affective domain. ये तीनों domain हम लोग, yes, thank you Maushmi, ma'am, thank you so much. We deal with 3 means main domains as per the Bloom's taxonomy. कॉग्निटिव जो होता है वो हमारे ब्रेन से रिलेटेड होता है. व्हाट इज देयर, हाउ मच वी हैव इंटेलिजेंस. यस, वेरी गुड. हार्ट, हेड, हार्ट एंड ब्रेन, hand, sorry, head, and psychomotive is psychomotor, which we call a writing, hand. Okay, and affective is related to our emotions. So whenever you make a question paper, because we are dealing with assessment, so I wanted to show this also. So when we make the question paper, when we are dealing with the assessment, we need to follow this Bloom's taxonomy, which is, I know most of us, we all know it. Most of you all must be knowing it. What are the 7 steps? That is remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, then we come to evaluating, and then we come to creating. और जो ऊपर के 3 है वो सब हॉट्स में आते हैं, और जो नीचे के 3 है वो सब लॉट्स में आते हैं. दैट इज हायर ऑर्डर स्किल, एंड देन कम्स द लोअर ऑर्डर skill. I'll just show you through this pyramid. Yes, this, as you can see over here, this is the lots: understanding, applying, remembering. ये आ गया आपका lots में. And then comes the hots, which is analyzing. Then it comes the creating and evaluating. ये सब आ गया hots में. तो ये हम लोग को Bloom's taxonomy में use करना है. और अभी मैं just now I was talking about the words to be used. These are some of the words we should always remember to use it. That is in remembering. सारा Bloom's taxonomy का category है. Suppose we frame a question. Remembering में क्या आएगा? Describe, write, state, name the following, or identify something, label something, match something. All this come under remembering, जो कि बहुत ही basic questions है, जो कि हर बच्चा हमारे क्लास का लिख सकता है. So that is supposed to be as the remembering session. Okay, that in remembering, all this can come. You can use the frame the question with these kind of verbs. And then comes the, after remembering, we have understanding. Understanding में हम क्या कर सकते हैं? Distinguish करो किसी चीज को, summarize करो, poetry पढ़ाए हैं तो paraphrase it. Okay, then generalize it, describe it. So this comes under describing. Okay, the second category. That after remembering, the second is understanding. Then after that comes the, yeah, 1 minute. Yeah. Next come the applying. Okay, उसमें क्या होगा? Construct, complete, examine, okay, interpret, make. So ये सब verbs हम use कर सकते हैं. Then evaluate में judge, justify, verify, ये सब हम use कर सकते हैं. Create में design, imagine, formulate, hypothesis, originate, add, forecast. ये सब words, ये सब verbs है कुछ जो कि हम जो all these words, we can use it in the Bloom's, as per Bloom's taxonomy, we can use it in our question papers. So the question paper should not be very vague. So these are the verbs. Next. Here are some words which we should avoid. What we should avoid? Memorize, think, okay, understand, feel, recognize. So all these we should avoid. And we should even avoid these phrases. Okay, aware, that capable, comprehension of, okay, enjoyment of, interest in, you are interested in, knowledge of. So this kind of an, you can avoid all these words. Next, the types of questions. So we have certain categories of questions which are MCQs. We have structured that 2 marks question. Then we have some long question which is of 4 marks, and then we have 4 case-based question. As for CBSE, we have to divide our question paper into 4 parts. That is short answer question, that MCQs, and where we can have assertion reasoning question. Then we can have some constructed, that is response, where response can be given, short answer type question. Then we have the constructed long answer type question, and then we can have the case based question. So these are the 4 categories of questions which we can have. These are some of the questions. As I told you, constructed response and selected response. We can divide our question paper into 2 parts. जिसमें हमको कंस्ट्रक्टेड रिस्पॉन्स चाहिए और जिसमें हमको सेलेक्टेड चाहिए. कंस्ट्रक्टेड मतलब जहां बच्चे कंस्ट्रक्ट करें हम अपना आंसर, और सेलेक्टेड मतलब जहां बच्चे सेलेक्ट करें हमारा आंसर. सो ये 2 पार्ट में हमारा क्वेश्चन पेपर डिवाइड होता है. कंस्ट्रक्शन में शॉर्ट आंसर्स आ जाएंगे, एस्से टाइप आंसर आ जाएंगे, परफॉर्मेंस असेसमेंट टाइप आएंगे, एंड सेलेक्टेड में we can have multiple choice, multiple that match the following, true and false. मतलब all objective types questions comes under selected. So हमारा question paper should be this divided into 2 parts, that is constructed response and selected response. I hope it's clear. Yeah. Next. What do we achieve? Now, robust and valid assessment allows for evaluation of full range of verbal learning outcomes. So ये सब मेहनत हम क्यों कर रहे हैं? So that we achieve our learning outcome. And the evaluation helps in testing the application of knowledge and skills to real world contexts. And properly designed paper will help us, okay, to go to the all the ability of the children. हमारे सारे अचीवर्स नहीं होते, कुछ बच्चे कमजोर भी होते हैं, बिलो एवरेज भी होते हैं. यदि हमारा पेपर प्रॉपरली डिजाइंड हो एज पर ब्लूम्स टेक्सोनॉमी, हम हर एक बच्चों को रीच कर सकते हैं. वी कैन रीच ऑल द चिल्ड्रन. वी कैन टेस्ट द एबिलिटी ऑफ ऑल द चिल्ड्रन विच आर देयर इन आवर क्लासेस, and then we can provide the feedback to the students. So that is how the complete process of assessment should be. So here, we plan, we develop, we deliver. We assess and evaluate the results of the assessment. We revise, deliver the revised material, okay, and assess and evaluate again. Then perfection is always just out of reach, but continually striving for perfection contributes to keeping both our instruction fresh and our interest in teaching peaked. So this is what is said by E.S. Gracian. So this was this all complete thing was about the scholastic part which we are dealing. Quickly, I'll go through the scholastic. I think we are falling short of time. In course scholastic, we usually fill the marks of work education, health and physical education. These are the 4 strands. I'll just show you this. These are the 4 strands, as you can see in the screen. 4 strands are there in which the course scholastic depends. First is the health and physical education. Next comes the seva. In the health and physical education, we have seva, we have fitness, we have health activity. And then comes the art education, and then comes the discipline. So we mark the children under these 4 categories. In a nutshell, I'll just show you. Yeah. These are the parameters in which we mark the students in the co-scholastic area. The first is the health and physical education, then comes the art education, then comes the discipline. So A, B, C, D, and E is given as per the CBSE guidelines. A stands for exemplary, then comes the proficient, then comes the developing, then emerging, D is the emerging, and E is the beginner. So these are the grades which we usually give it to the children when we test the co-scholastic area of the child, and in which discipline is very important. So every class teacher should grade the students on a 5-point scale from A to E, keeping in view the overall attendance. What all should we see in the discipline? The overall attendance, sincerity, values, and behavior of the students. So all these things can be seen when we see the discipline of the students. So discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. And all the documents, teachers, we need to carefully keep it, because we have to keep it at least for a period of 3 months after the declaration of the result, so that anytime we for verification we are able to send to the boards. So I hope it's clear. If you have any questions, put in the chat box. If you have any question, you can put it in the chat box. I'll try to answer. Thank you so much, teachers, for attending my session. Thank you so much.